Hello, friends.
Hi guys. Sydney's not here. Pray for Sydney. She's got some stuff going on. But yeah, here we are.
Prayer emojis out to Sydney.
Rangers ready. This is my A&M Rangers shirt. So,
Shelby is. Tonight. We are all Rangers fans, or at least I am, because Shelby's team is trying to save us from a Astros Phillies World Series, which is the darkest timeline.
it's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought we were gonna have a triple plank walker this week. Thankfully, my boy Murda Mertz came through in the clutch, and Slick Rick bailed him out, and magic happened up in Columbia. But tough
Did you
week.
see
Oh,
my new
tough week for the SEC biased. I did. Oh man,
or at least our offensive line coach, whose last name I never can say correctly.
Steve Adazio,
That guy.
the Dazzler.
Like,
That's former Florida great Steve Adazio.
oh, you want him back?
No, I don't. He was for whatever reason, he was Urban Meyer's offensive coordinator after Dan Mullen left to go to Mississippi State in 2009. And he ran the most boring, shitty, garbage offense. Like, him being an offensive line coach is exactly what he needs to be.
He's gotten Haynes King hurt. He's gotten Connor hurt. He's gotten Max hurt. He's like, the list is ever growing. That, like,
I mean, what you need is, what's your defensive line coach's name? Henderson? Something Henderson?
oh, Robinson?
Robinson. Yep, that's what it is. You need his equivalent for the offensive line.
Yes. And another offensive Walter Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, so does Jimbo get, like? I don't think Jimbo's getting fired.
From what I've heard, if we lose to South Carolina at home, things could ramp up quickly.
I mean, South Carolina is the one that broke Dan Mullen's back at Florida. So, when you lose to these lower level garbage tier SEC teams, that's when the heat really starts to pick up. I personally, I wouldn't know what it's like to lose to South Carolina. My team beat South Carolina 2 years in a row now. Thankfully, thank you, Shane Beamer, for getting Dan Mullen fired and letting us move into a new direction. Billy Napier's 2-0 against Sunbelt Shane. Have you seen this stuff about Shane Beamer though? He
No.
broke his foot. He broke his foot kicking a Gatorade cooler after the game.
Oh.
And I've seen a few montages of Shane Beamer being an overly emotional wreck. Like, it's one thing to get hype and cheer your team on and get emotional and fired up before and after and during a game. Man, I have never seen a coach cry as much as I've seen Shane Beamer cry. Like,
Yikes.
don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I am in touch with my emotions. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I cry during every Disney and Pixar movie. Like, my wife watches Grey's Anatomy, and I can't even be in the same room because I'm just like, why is this kid dying? This isn't right. Why the
heck? Fucked me up, man.
What?
Inside Out fucked me up.
Dude. Oh my God. Yes. Like, how. Yeah, that one's rough.
You sit there and you're like, now it's okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's.
I met Sadness at Disney World, and I was like, this is literally my, like, spirit character. And, like, I cried. She's looking at this lady in the costume, probably looking at me like, what the hell?
Have you seen Onward?
Yes.
That one, as a two-time member of the Dead Dads Club, that one really
Oh,
just from the jump. That one was just like, you're not gonna have a good time.
we're not having fun here.
First 5 minutes, you're fucking miserable
Honestly,
already.
Elemental was cute too. I'm not even
Yep.
gonna lie.
We watched Elemental a couple weeks ago.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Also
Yeah.
would recommend Altuve flying out deep to, what is that, Leote out there? I don't even know who was out there.
You're
I
like,
where he flew out to. I just looked up and somebody caught it. It's either Evan or Leote.
have you seen the Nick Castellanos meme? Have you seen the I believe it's up to 3 times now to where the commentators are like having this like serious comment. Like one time they were talking about like a World War II veteran that had passed away that was some like lifelong White Sox fan or something. And they're in the middle of doing this memorial, and the commentator is just like, and that's a deep drive to right field by Castellanos. I kid you not. It's up to 3 times now to where there's been some like Veterans Day, Memorial Day, heartfelt, touching moment, and then in the middle of it, Nick Castellanos hits a home run, and the commentator is just like, and that's a fly ball to right field. That's what you were just like right there. You're just like, and that's a fly out by Altuve.
What makes me laugh is when and we're gonna catch it. Okay, we good. When Adolis, whenever Altuve had the double play yesterday on Monday, that he was doubled off because he didn't touch second base. And one of my friends goes, "Well, he does have short legs. You can only ask." Like, oh, leave Jose alone. What did he do to you?
So
the man has little legs. It's true. I got stuck in a Rangers game once, and this guy was like, Odolis Garcia walks up to the plate, and he goes, "Look, Beltre." And I was like, no.
Not even close.
And I'd also like to tell you that Elvis Andrus is no longer on the team, just so you know.
Prince Fielder still playing first base for y'all.
God. Prince Fielder was getting paid for a while, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like
that
job. I'd kill for that job, to be
Didn't
injured and
he?
still getting paid.
How did he hurt his neck, right? Like something like fell on his head or something?
It was not good. Whatever it
so,
wasn't
yeah, good. It like just smushed his head down already. So enough baseball talk. It's October.
Okay.
You know, I was told that it wasn't actually October, it was Cocktober. Yeah. Turns out it was Lostober because not sure if you've seen
October, like crop tops.
Yeah, I mean it could work. We're in the South. We are in the South. Um, have you seen the videos of all the South Carolina fans doing the chomp when they were leading 37-27? And then fast forward like 8 minutes and they're all just like, They got Graham Mertzted.
Oh goodness. I just would like to point out that all the Tennessee fans are so excited they beat A&M and they think they did something great. And I'm like, y'all realize that y'all tried to hand us that game like 4 times.
Tennessee's not good.
No. The only problem is A&M's offensive line is worse.
Bro, I don't know what. How? Why are y'all so bad?
Because our offensive line is ass. So Max has no time. Connor is broken because of it. Like, it is what it is.
Our O line's pretty cheeks too. It's just, but I just don't understand. Y'all recruited y'all like.
We already lost recruit today, or
yeah, Dreelan Miller.
Miller or Draylon.
I'm hoping he follows DJ Lagway to Florida. That I was hoping we
is the favorite.
Yeah, that's he visited LSU this past weekend and then decommitted. So normally that means the writing's on the wall about what school he actually wants to go to, but you never know. Yeah, I thought y'all would have a chance. I knew it being in Neyland was gonna make it tricky.
I don't think it was the noise at all.
See, it being a day game, I watched a little bit of that game. It didn't seem too raucous. Like last year when they got to play Florida and Bama in Neyland, it was a rocking place. Like Neyland, and for me it's weird. I don't really have a gauge on Georgia Stadium just because I've never actually watched like us play there, and it's like when I'm watching a game between another team in Georgia, I don't really know how to gauge like how they normally play, but like when we play at Kroger for Kentucky, when we play at Neyland, um, I Kyle Field didn't really seem to have too much of an impact on us last year. Maybe it was just because y'all's season had already kind of gone off the rails, and
Right.
so and the same thing happens in the swamp. Like the Arkansas game that I'm going to this year. That's what I was. As selfish as it sounds, my biggest concern was that our season would have spiraled out. Like, we're sitting at 5-2 right now. Like before the season started, we were expected to win. Vegas had us at 5.5 wins, so we're not where we need to be, especially with how bad we played against Utah and Kentucky. But we still have the chance to have a good season. A lot of folks thought we wouldn't even have a chance at this point. So,
Mitch is here.
October is over. We ended it. We put we chomped it in the bud.
That was gross.
What? So you guys are what?
Joke wasn't cute.
Are you guys 4-3 now? What's your record?
Let's see.
Because I know we haven't had a bye. This is our bye week. This is Florida and Georgia's bye week.
LOL.
Okay, so we all played 7 games.
I believe we're 4-3. Let's see standings.
Miami, Tennessee.
Yeah, we're 4-3.
To the spreadsheet. Let's pull up the spreadsheet. See how we're looking here.
Shelby's not looking good because Shelby had us at 11-1. So
well, Ethan had us at 11-1 as well. So we're in it together. Our homerism. What can you say? 10-2.
Okay, but at least I had a reason to believe. We are literally one of the top teams in terms of talent. I thought this roster was idiot proof. I was wrong.
Mitch will tell you from years of watching Mark Richt coach his team, no amount of talent advantage. Like look at Tennessee under their past 3 or 4 coaches. Like it's fun to make fun of them, but Tennessee has a talent advantage over pretty much every team they play outside of Florida, Georgia, and Bama. And this is for the past 15 years, right? But Tennessee would still win 4 or 5 games. Like you think that they're idiot proof because of the talent they bring in as recruits. I don't know what it is. There's just certain teams that like you look and they always are in the top 10 for recruiting. But like Texas is a great example. Texas has been a top 10 recruiting team for the past 20 years, but they've had multiple drafts where they've had fewer than 1 pick. Like they've had like 2, like no guys drafted some years. And it's like, how are you? No, I'm not trying to make a debate here. How are you like the University of Texas? You're the biggest school in the second biggest state population wise in the country, but you can't get anybody to the NFL. Like even Florida State, and Miami. No, we've all put guys into the NFL, at least one. Like how you have so much talent around you. All you have to do is get these dudes in and develop them a little bit, and they go. I don't know. I feel like that whole talent advantage thing, especially with the transfer portal, I feel like it's a crapshoot now. Nothing is idiot proof when you have Jimbo Fisher's hands on it.
Hashtag fire Jimbo. Hashtag.
Are we there? So this is what I wanted to talk about. I haven't really followed A&M until they came to the SEC. And in that time, you've really only had 2 coaches, right? You've had Sumlin, you've had Jimbo. What is like? Are y'all going to fire Jimbo, or are you a more patient fan base than that?
What is patient? It's been 6 years. What am I being patient for? What am I
Well,
waiting for? We don't even have a special teams coordinator. Do you know
neither
that?
do we.
We haven't got one of those.
We don't either. He's an
We felt
analyst.
like we needed one.
Yep. Everybody, I personally, I personally don't hate the idea. Like, I don't. I feel like special team coordinator way overblown. They really don't do a whole lot. However, after seeing the fuck ups that Florida has had on special teams, of having two guys with the same number on the field at the same time, of not
We
of
haven't.
having not of having 10 players on the field at one time, not of having 9 players on the field at one time. We had a field goal block attempt with 8 players on the field. like, like, so I'm in theory, I think a new special teams coordinator setup can work. So far in practice, it has been an abject failure. So I'm kind of like, somebody's got to get their shit together.
Somebody do something, please.
I mean, that's a good point. It has been 6 years, but is A&M willing to eat, what is it, $70 million? I mean,
Yep.
It's a lot of money. It's a
Yep.
lot of dinero.
And you act like we're like worried about it.
I mean, but that's the thing, right? Everybody knows A&M has like the oil money, right? Like everybody knows A&M has fuck you money. But it's also been like, Bob Woodyard or whatever his name is. He's at LSU now, right? So the guy that hired Jimbo isn't your AD anymore, is he?
Nope.
So our fan base hates the process that Florida has used for a lot of our coaches in trying to find and hire an up and comer. It's worked for us because Urban Meyer, he was at Utah before we hired him. Will Muschamp wasn't a defensive coordinator, but he was like the number one guy. Billy Napier, it was sort of an up and comer. And then in basketball, we got lucky really with Billy Donovan being who he ended up being. And then after that, Mike White and Todd Golden are both young up and comer guys. So it's like Bob Woodward. I always want to say Bob Woodward. I don't know what we're. Bob Woodward is the reporter. Yes, you're right. Yes, Scott Woodward. So his whole MO has been to go out and hire the big name guy. Go big game hunting is what he's done. I mean, who do y'all hire if you fire Jimbo? I feel like this cycle in particular is.
No, but I want him gone, please.
And see, I feel like I hate that mentality, Shelby.
I don't. Okay, let me put it this way. I have not done enough research to know who I would want. I am not as well versed in who we could hire, who's good, who's like I'm not. I just know that it's time.
I mean, I get it, and I know that it's flawed for us as fans to be expected to have an answer to that question because the AD and the president and the folks at the university are getting paid 6 or 7 figures to be the ones to answer that question, and ultimately it's up to them to have the answer. It's not up to us. Man,
it's up to you to have that answer. I'd do some serious research, but I don't. But they don't, so I'm not going to.
What about Dana Holgerson? He's right there at Houston. He doesn't even have to change. He doesn't have to sell his house.
Doesn't get out. No, a lot of people are like, I want this, I want that. And they're like, we don't have enough money for that. I'm like, you want to bet? We could throw some serious money at somebody. We did Jimbo. People are like, you ain't getting Jimbo. We're like, watch me. And
Jimbo wanted out of
FSU.
FSU.
Lose recruits if you get rid of Jimbo. I said, we're going to lose recruits keeping Jimbo.
It's true. That's the dichotomy of college football is you lose your recruits if you make a coaching change. You lose your recruits if you keep your coach and he sucks. Yeah.
We saw what he saw at Draylon Miller. Hello. He said bye. He said, I don't want to be part of that. Bye.
Deuces.
And I'm like, I don't fucking blame you. I'm not sure.
I got to watch some real shitty football last night. That was fun.
I had a whole ass day yesterday with my kids. They were just being buttheads. So I went home and went to bed.
See, all week it's just, how's the song go? Everybody's working for the weekend.
Something like that.
From the month of from September through January, I want to get through the week. I just want football. And then starting in October, you start to get your Sun Belt and Conference USA games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And man, it is some ugly football being played sometimes, but it's still football.
Like, I was gonna watch the Stars last night because I took an hour-long nap. Let's remember this. Shelby took a nap. When I got home, I laid down and I said, I'm going to bed. And I slept for an hour. And then I was like, I'm gonna watch the Stars. And I found out the Stars didn't start till 9:30. And I said, about that. I shall be asleep. And I was asleep at 8:45. Thank you very much.
So let's talk. Let's go through these games. Let's get down to business.
Neither of our teams are active, so we don't care. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that's why we've had so much shenanigan talk.
Shenanigans are fun.
They are.
Like the fact that the Rangers currently have, or the Astros currently have one on and one out because Max Scherzer decided to hit somebody in the foot with the ball and they were sitting there for a minute looking at his foot. Like, maybe not.
Not allowed to do that.
Oh, and now we hit another guy.
Oh,
it's just call for. Never mind. We're good. We're good. I was like, you hit somebody else, Max. No. I don't know what to expect out of Max Scherzer right now because he hasn't played since September 12th. He wasn't supposed to be pitching today. But he's like, I can do it. And we're like, okay. When Max Scherzer says he can do it, you don't tell him no.
That's true. I mean, he's a beast.
He's earned it, He's earned
All right.
it. Do it? Okay.
So
wrong.
Well, before we jump into this coming week, I need your rundown of this past week. I need your assessment. What went wrong? What went right?
For who?
For you.
Oh, for A&M? Okay.
Yeah.
Everything. I think our defense is fine. Even Evan Stewart was interviewed by Texags today, and he said our defense is great. Like, I give them an A+, and I'm like, cool.
It's like Jamar Chase and CD Lamb coming out and saying, I'm always open. Like, that's Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart's basically just like, I'm always open. Offense fucking sucks. Defense is good.
Like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Literally, if the guy's name is not Jake Johnson, he's open. I love Max so much. I think he's a great kid. But, literally stop throwing to your brother. Stop. Fucking stop, please. No, but I think our defense is fine, even though I'm really worried. They say Walter Nolan and Edwin Cooper and Albert Regis, who all three were injured. Walter was taken off on a cart in tears. But they said they should all be ready for South Carolina, not this week, but next week. But please, dear God, I can't handle losing them too. Especially, okay, Albert, fine. I'd be sad, but fine. But Walter and Edrin's on his way to being a top pick. 45, A+. Also, the kid's name is Edrin. He's meant to play edge.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that logic.
And he also is our hog hunter. So when we played Arkansas, he literally took the entire team hog hunting, or the entire defense hog hunting.
Nice, nice.
And they all posted pictures of them with like dead hogs, and I was like, "All right, we doing this? We doing this?" Like, sure, why not? And it
So
worked.
Anais Williams and Evan Stewart both have exactly 451 receiving yards.
Anais who? Anais who and who?
Anais Smith. Sorry, I said Williams. I meant Smith.
That's why I was like, Anais who and who?
I was thinking of Aeneas Williams, the defensive back for the Rams in the 2000s. That's what I think of every time I see Anais Smith is Aeneas Williams.
Just thinking from the 2000s.
Hey, I hit 10, 12 years old, and that's when I really started paying attention to sports. And the Rams, the greatest show on turf, were the best team in football at the time, and good times. But yeah. So Anais Smith, that's what I think of every time I see your name.
Sweet, sweet Anais.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Arkansas was gonna have
an upset.
Yeah. They made it interesting.
I was hoping, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if we're using transitive property here, let me just break this down. I personally don't use this. I just see so many other people use it that I like to make fun of them for how ridiculous it is when they use transitive property. So Georgia beat Vanderbilt 37-20. Florida beat Vanderbilt 38-14.
Oh God.
Therefore, Florida is actually 8 points better than Georgia. 7 points. 7 points. So Florida's going to win by 7.
And when does that happen? When does this happen?
This not this week, but next week.
The 28th. World's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yep.
And we play South Carolina at 11 a.m. because they fucking hate us. And by they, I mean we earned that.
Yeah, so Florida, I'm proud of my boys. Biggest, I know that's shocking to you that I am on here applauding the effort of my Gators, and in a totally unbiased opinion, I would never lie or inflate their performance. But no, in actuality, it was a really good game. I mean, my wife, Saturdays are always a bit stressful for her and the dog because like they pick up on my energy, and the dog is just like hiding in the corner because I'm like freaking out all the time, and my wife is just like, please, dear God, let them win. I don't want to deal with him being a moody bitch all night if we lose. So, she's just like praying that we win so that I'm in a good mood because I'm a man child who lets sports have an outsized impact on his emotions.
Well, there I was like up here.
Yeah, you were. You're like, oh hey.
The Blake Shelton voice finger, like.
But I told her in the third quarter, I was like, I honestly I can't even be mad. Like this has just been a good game. Like I wish our defense had played better. Like I wish that if our defense had played better, I would be even happier. But it was back and forth. I mean, just punch for punch all game. And so I told her, I was like, hell, if we had lost, I mean, I wouldn't have been happy, but it wouldn't have been like Kentucky and Utah, to where we went out there and just looked like shit. Sometimes in the SEC, sometimes you go on the road and lose. I mean, I know that sounds dumb, but it happens. Like, even Georgia, Bama, our mid 2000s teams, it's hard. It's hard to go on the road. It's hard to win every game. And, we're still rebuilding and kind of getting things going. So it was a big win for us. Graham Mertz, as you can see, I have been on board this train all season. Pay attention to me, Shelby. Pay attention to me.
I looked up. Rio Houston, and I'm not okay.
um,
Rio Houston, and I don't know what happened.
so Dari Noka from ESPN had Florida going 2-10 this year. By and large, Graham Mertz and Brady Cook were the two worst quarterbacks in the SEC in the preseason. They're the two quarterbacks that everybody thought was just going to be so awful. And if you look, they're generally some combination of 13th and 14th. Now you fast forward to October, and Brady Cook and Graham Mertz are balling out. And you have guys like
balling out.
What do you mean?
Is Graham Mertz really balling out?
Have you seen what he's been doing this year?
I'm just messing with you.
I will fight you. I am the president of the fan club. Okay.
I know you are. That's why I'm messing with you.
So through 7 games, Graham Mertz is 4th in passing yards in the
overall
SEC.
Or in the SEC?
Over in the SEC. 4th in he's like top 25 or so in overall. 4th in passing yards in the SEC. 1st in completion percentage. He's 5th in QB rating. I mean, he up until this week he was completing 80% of his passes. I mean, he's completing 77% of his passes. Like he's not stretching the ball down the field as much as a lot of folks would like. And that's one thing we've done better the past couple of weeks is throw it more than 5 yards downfield. And it's made a pretty big difference in our offense. And hopefully we continue to do that. But I mean, he's been at least good, if not very good. And I think with it, he should come back next year. And I think next year we're going to be in a position to really make some noise. We're going to have a fucking brutal schedule. I mean, we have what some people consider like the hardest schedule they've ever seen. I mean, we have Miami, UCF, Texas A&M, like the SEC slate. So we have out of conference, we have Miami, UCF, FSU, and Samford. And then we have 8 SEC games. So we play 11 Power 5 conference teams next year. And at least 2 of the out of conference teams should be ranked when we play them. So it's going to be a spicy one. But I mean, I think that Graham Mertz coming back and how many freshmen we have and all that stuff. Wins like we had Saturday it just shows that the guys are progressing. And that's really the key, in my opinion, for this year is win the games you're supposed to win. Maybe flip a couple that you're not supposed to. Maybe pull an upset of Georgia, LSU, FSU, and get to 8-9 wins. I mean, and that's you're going into year 3 with a lot of returners. Like, I mean, we lost so much production. And then you're going into year 3 with 21. We have the potential to return everybody from our starting lineup except for Ricky Pearsall. Like, that's how young our team is that, like, literally everybody's going to be coming back. So if we manage to make it through this year like we've looked the first half, we balling. And Graham Mertz for Heisman.
So do I get to go to the swamp next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me know. Well, hey, Sydney could have come to the swamp this year for the Arkansas game. Me and Dargan are going to be there.
Aw. I tried to get Sid to Dallas. I tried. I don't think she's too upset.
She's gonna, knowing her, she's like, oh, I have a music festival in Oregon or something that she's gonna be going. Oh, I have to go to a film festival in New York. Like, I don't know what kind of life that girl leads, but she definitely does not have children. Like,
no, she does not. Neither do I.
Yeah,
I have 17 of them.
Yeah, there you go. See, I have 2, and it really limits your ability to travel.
Well, now I have 16 because one withdrew, so I have 16. But still, the point stands. All right, let's see. Let's look at this week. It's boring and boring. It's 3rd Saturday in October. Boring, boring, and boring. right?
Yep.
Okay. So Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Man, that's gonna be an ugly one. I think Arkansas pulls it off. I saw this thing today, and it's like a what if ranking, to where if like what would the rankings look like if every one possession game had the opposite outcome, and Arkansas was ranked number one. Arkansas would be 6-1 right now if all of the one possession games were flipped. So they've played teams close. They haven't really gotten blown out. It's a tough way, it's tough. But I think if they lose this game, there's the possibility that they win one more game this year. Like, they might only beat FIU if they lose this game.
Yikes.
With that said, I gotta go Arky for Sydney's sanity.
Poor Sid, man. Like, she's just okay. Okay, that was creepy. I looked up. Okay, have you seen the new Hilton Hotel commercial that has like they try to stay at an Airbnb and it's got like creepy dolls and shit?
Yes.
I looked up right as the doll's head moves.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to be okay now. I just happened to look up. I wonder how the games go. Oh, okay. I'm good.
Dolls freak me out.
Oh, one of our Vol fans wants to join. Shall I send a link?
Where's Matt? Where's Matt been? I'm surprised he's not on here.
Matt, I'm surprised doesn't want to talk shit. I'm very surprised.
I am too. I mean, I wasn't surprised when he didn't show up after the Florida game. It made perfect sense to me. But them beating TAMU, I was pretty surprised.
He did send a message at the end of it. Didn't say a damn thing through the whole thing. And then made a comment of we wouldn't be a state if it wasn't for them. And I was like, okay.
Oh God.
And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Bro, is there any I can't think of anybody else in the country that gives two shits about the entire existence of the state of Tennessee, except for people that live in Tennessee.
And Nashville.
Nobody really cares about Nashville. Nashville would just be Muscle Shoals if Tennessee didn't exist.
Okay. I have a cat who is enjoying the fact that I'm petting his paws. Oh, never mind. Maybe he's not. Oh, okay. Anyway, I sent the link. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll skip Tennessee and Bama then to see if they come back. If they come, South Carolina and Missouri.
The Battle of the Columbia.
Which one is bad, Columbia?
I'm gonna stick with Como being bad Columbia until I actually get a chance to go there. I saw somebody say that it's one of the better towns in the SEC. I've never been there. I've only ever heard bad things about Columbia, Missouri. So I think. Oh, we got him.
We got him.
Evening, friends.
Oh, now he shows up.
Hey. You know, this is the first time I extended the invite. There's an open invite to anybody to come on my show.
I saw your partner in crime recently.
He told me. He said you bought him a meal, so I'm officially jealous. You now owe me one next time I'm down there.
Hey, just let me know.
Mitch says there's Columbia and there's bad Columbia.
So what have I missed so far?
Right now, we've picked Mississippi State, Arkansas, so we'll let you pick that one in a second, and then we're talking about the Battle of Columbia.
Well, I'll pick a couple. I don't want to get Brandon pissed off at me if I pick too many games.
We even skipped Tennessee, Alabama. We were going to come back to it for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna forgo that one. I'm gonna save that one for our show for Friday.
So who you got for Mississippi State and Arkansas?
I think Sam has to win this one. I think he absolutely has to win this game. I mean, it's the quietest hot seat in the country right now, but I think they're getting to the point in Fayetteville. They're getting a little tired of mediocrity. And it was kind of the same thing with Bielema. When Bielema was there, it was just very, very quiet. They just didn't know how to deal with it. They expected more. They didn't get it. And so I think Sam might be in trouble. He's got to win this game. This is a must win for us. So I'm gonna take Arkansas.
Especially at home, you got to.
Yep.
If you're in cowbell country, fine, maybe, but you're not. So
the quietest hot seat in the country is a really good way of putting it. I think because like just talking to folks, Sydney included, it seems like that 2021 season has really carried Sam Pittman a long way when they went 9-4. And it seems like now folks are kind of just like, what do I do? Like, Arkansas is just a weird one to me. Like they have enough history that they should be better than they are, but also they're in a pretty talent barren location for the SEC. And it's like, how do you get out of this hump? I don't know what they do.
I think Sam.
Jimbo.
I think Sam is a very, very good position coach. I mean, there's no doubt he can churn out one hell of an offensive line. It just hasn't translated to an entire unified team, and I think that's going to be. I would not be surprised to see a change there if he doesn't. I mean, who's he got left? They've got Mississippi State. They've got
Florida. They're in the swamp, and then they have Auburn, FIU, and Columbia, all at home to end the season. We talked about this in our preseason show. Arkansas, if you look at this stretch, they have LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Bama.
Yeah.
All three of those four are on the road. Like that's a brutal stretch of the first half of your season, having to go on the road and play those teams consecutively. The game to BYU that they dropped at home, that one's the one that you look back at, and that's something that maybe stops them from being bowl eligible, right? Like that's something that we were talking about meeting expectations. They were 7-6 last year, 9-4 the year before. You're kind of getting into the difference between kind of treading water and trending downward.
I mean, they're going to be lucky to be bowl eligible. I mean, I think right now ceiling is 6 wins. It's just where are you going to get that 6th win? Are you going to get it in the swamp?
I think Auburn. I think this week, then Auburn, and then FIU. Like it starts this week.
Well, they're 2-5 right now. So they've got to win. They've got to win 4 of the last 5. So which one of that? Which one's your 4th? I mean, it's either going to be Florida or Missouri. I mean, the saving grace about Missouri is that they're coming into Fayetteville, but I mean, I don't see them going into the swamp and winning.
I don't see them, honestly. If they don't win this weekend and get some kind of momentum going,
they're done.
I got, like I was saying before you hopped in. I mean, I think FIU might be the only win they get. The rest, and then you finish 3-9. That hot seat, it goes from quiet hot seat to
parboil.
Yeah, to loud hot seat, because then you're looking at sort of a Chad Morris type of situation. It's like,
oh Lord.
But I also think that Sam's a lot more well liked than Chad.
That's true. Which I
did. That's one vibe I get, that just universally people love Sam Pittman.
That's true.
But he's just one of those guys.
He reminds me, he's like what Ed Orgeron was to LSU in my brain, of like he is Arkansas.
Yep.
Like he embodies what Arkansas is.
So he's basically Ed Ogeron minus the womanizing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Minus the Cajun influence as well.
Yeah.
He's an Ozark
Whenever I thought
Orgeron.
LSU, I was like Ed Orgeron.
Go Tiger. So let's jump to the Battle of the Columbia. Did we say that one already?
No.
Who you got, Dren?
Battle of the Columbia, which is Missouri and
USC.
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
USC Junior. They're not the real USC.
Yeah, I know. And it's in Como?
It's in Como.
In Como. Yeah, Missouri's got to be feeling pretty damn good after Kentucky. And of course, I think Beamer breaking his foot on the sideline last weekend is just a microcosm of everything that is going on down there. I'm going to be really interested to see what kind of hijinks Eli pulls out in the pregame. Maybe he'll come out wearing a boot or something, you know. But yeah, I think South Carolina's done. I really do. I think Rattler has, not that he's as anywhere nearly as talented as Elway was, but he's kind of gotten into kind of a perverse John Elway situation where he's going to end up playing for a team that is perpetually underachieved, because people forget this. John Elway never had a winning season in college. He never did. The only shot he ever had of the winning season was the year that Cal won the band game. Because Stanford was 5-5 going into that game, and had they won, they would have been 6-5.
In a million years, I would have never thought of a Spencer Rattler, John Elway comparison coming up tonight.
Rattler is not. Let me just say this: I'm not saying that Spencer Rattler is anywhere nearly as talented as John Elway was at that age. Elway was 10 times the athlete Rattler is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the potential for him to be a good pro is there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's going to be successful Elway, I don't think anybody can predict that. But I think he's gotten himself into a situation. He thought he was going to go somewhere. He thought he was mistreated by Lincoln Riley. Ain't the only one. And ended up in a situation where he thought he was going to wreck some people, and it just has not worked out the way he wanted it to. And I don't know how if Beamer still has control of that team or not. It's going to be really interesting to see how they respond to what happened to him, because that was the third biggest choke of the weekend behind what happened with Dion, and then people conveniently forget or ignored what Colorado State did to Boise State. Boise had a 20-point lead with about 4.5 left in the fourth quarter, and Colorado State came back and beat them at the gun. Or actually, no, tied it up. They tied it up in the gun and won in overtime. No, they won 31-30. They won it at the gun.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to remember watching the game. So how they're going to react to that, I don't know how. I don't know how you recover from taking the beating that you took from us. And Rattler's a tough kid, man. He kept getting up. I give him all the credit in the world. He ran his mouth, and there's something to be said about that. But he definitely every time we knocked him down, he got back up, and he kept coming. And he didn't give up. So, but at the same time, I mean, the rest of the team, he's not gotten the same reaction out of the rest of the team around him. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons, and they're misfiring, and nothing's coming together.
To me, I don't really agree with the last part. I don't think they have a lot of weapons. I mean, they have Leggett and they have Juice Wells. And that's cool and all, but it feels like they're never on the same page. Like Leggette's been solid all year, but like they don't have a running back. Like then their running back has a good game, but then their receiving sucks. Or Rattler almost is like a Shador Sanders type of season to me, to where he's just throwing it like that. Their entire offensive game plan is just to let Rattler sling it around, and maybe they outscore, maybe they don't. And they almost outscored us. You know, they were in a dogfight with Mississippi State. The Georgia game was a weird one, but you know, you guys smashed them. North Carolina, they did the same thing, to where they just fucking put them on the mat over and over again.
Well,
It's
I'm
like,
surprised. I'm surprised that offensive line held up as well as it did against Georgia, because that should have been a lot worse than what it was. Because that offensive line is just hot garbage. I mean, Shelby, you think your guys have issues?
I know my guys have issues.
I know, but I don't think it's South. I don't think it's South Carolina.
It's not. I was surprised that, you know, the commentators all game talked about how they had shuffled their. Apparently, South Carolina had taken their starting left tackle, moved in the left guard. Their starting center was at left tackle. Their right guard was at center. Like, they basically just had completely reshuffled their offensive line. And I thought their offensive line played pretty well. I mean, our defensive line gets pressure, but we aren't getting sacks, and it's pretty frustrating. But they were buying just enough time. I mean, we were in the backfield, we were on Rattler, but they were buying just enough time for him to get a pass off, from the step up in the pocket, from the scramble, whatever the case may be. I was expecting to feast this weekend, honestly. I thought their offensive line was going to be way worse than they ended up being. So, I mean, I don't know if it was just.
Oh, Lord, Mitch. Oh,
I mean, that's what I've been trying to say for a while now. Nobody ever listens to me. They just say I'm biased and say I don't know what I'm talking about. I think that, you know, I'm not sure if you guys know who Michael Bratton is from Saturday Down South, and he does a show with that one Tennessee guy on Twitter. The big guy. I don't know if you saw it, but he said that for every point Florida beat Tennessee by, he would walk a mile. Did you see that, Duran? You know, I'm talking about Shelby. Yeah, he's a big guy. So they do a show together, but he all day on Twitter, he's been getting hell from Florida fans because he's been saying, "Oh, on a neutral site, Tennessee would beat Florida. On a neutral site, this would happen. On a neutral site, that would happen." And people are just like, "Dude, the game's not played at a neutral site." Like, and somebody pulled up his timeline, and he had just made this whole like, on a neutral site, this team beats that team argument for like the past like 4 years. And it was just like scrolling through, to where every time he wanted to hedge his bet, he would say, "Oh, well, this team would win on a neutral field." And it's like, okay, man, come on. If Georgia on a neutral field, they would be like a 3 or 4 loss team. Yeah. That's what I'm going to go with. Doesn't matter what team, just trust me.
I'll tell you right now that if we played the game we played at Kyle against Tennessee, we still lose.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Sound or not, we still lose. Max decided that if it wasn't Jake, he wasn't throwing it. Our offensive line was ass. The defense did everything they could and then some.
Including getting three of the best guys hurt in the process.
Yep.
By the way, what's the diagnosis on Walt?
All they've said is that he's supposed to be back for South Carolina. So whatever it is,
they say not as bad as it looked.
For the worst.
Yeah.
He's back.
What about Edgerrin?
Him, Edgerrin, and Albert are all supposed to be back.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. Walter still has time. So if I had to pick one to like take a season-ending injury out of the 3 of them, it's Walter. He can come back next year and be fine.
Yeah.
This is Edgerrin's senior year. Like, he's done. And I'm pretty sure it's Albert's as well. And Edgerrin Cooper is on his way to being a first-round pick. So it breaks my heart that he's hurt. Because he's been working so hard. Speaking
of injuries, Ethan, how much of an impact is no Brock going to have on the cocktail party?
You know, I want to say it's going to be enough to really dictate the game. I think it could be. I think Beck has relied on him a ton when he's been under pressure, and just when it's like I don't know what to do. I mean, Cal Trask did the same thing with Cal Pitts. Like when you have a guy like that, it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. This guy's 8 yards away. Let me just throw the ball and see what he does. And Brock's been that guy for 3 years now. The fact that it's a bye week, I think that's going to give Bobo and Georgia time to adapt, time to install something. And just based off of how things have gone, much like Ray Davis this year and last year, there will be somebody on Georgia's team that has a career game, like Ty Davis Price in 2021 for LSU. Like somehow on these games where you think that a key player is injured or there's some fortuitous break that's going to benefit the good guys, all of a sudden some fucking third stringer has the game of their life. Like, oh, this person hasn't played since middle school and now they're rushing for 400 yards. And you're just like, oh, that's awesome. Go Gators. So yeah, like Lad McConkey's going to have 800 yards receiving or something. Like I want to say it's going to benefit us or that it's going to have a big impact, but like in the back of my mind, I just kind of know that like Oscar Delp is going to have 15 catches or something. And I think it's going to be hard to replace him, but also Georgia's like the one team.
I think it's hard. I think it's impossible.
It's impossible, but they have enough, right? Like I feel like we can't
conceivably, yeah, they should. Yeah.
We can't forget the fact that they have the 2 leading receivers from the SEC last year on their roster. Like Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett haven't lived up to the billing yet, but they still are. They still led 2 SEC teams in receiving yards and catches last year, and Dominic Lovett led the whole SEC. So it's not like they don't have anybody on their roster to take those catches away. Yeah. But Gators by 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Screenshot that.
What you know?
Y'all ain't ever gonna catch me on stream picking against my team, unless there's money involved that I got to be right.
Well, at least you didn't say I think they're going to hang 20. I don't know what happened to the fat bastard that said that, but it's taken into the loop somewhere.
Oh, so did we pick who? So we got Missouri, South Carolina. Did we ever pick this?
We kind of went backwards.
We've been all over the place.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Oh yeah, I love our South Carolina superfan. Game Day Warrior is a great guy. I love him dearly. He goes to like every South Carolina game. He's awesome, but like bless his heart, it's not going to happen.
I mean, if
I'm calling upset, I'm going. The cock. They got that cock in their heart.
Cocktober.
Cocktober.
As long as we win, we beat South Carolina for my birthday, I'm okay. My birthday is on Tuesday, guys, so I need this. I need this. Actually, maybe if it'll fire Jimbo, I may take the loss.
So,
I haven't decided yet. Talk to me next week.
I could conceivably, man, that's good. This is kind of like Arkansas. I think if South Carolina drops this one, like they have Jacksonville State, they have Vanderbilt. At this point,
if Vandy beats South Carolina, I might laugh.
Like I could see them. I could see them winning. I could see them winning 4 more games. I could see them winning 1 more game. Like I'm with you, Dren. I think that there could be some turmoil behind the scenes, and I could definitely see this one snowballing. My theory, I've tried to will this into existence. Florida needs to improve their offensive line play and recruiting. So it might sting, but I think that we're going to get Sam Pittman fired after they lose to Florida. I think Shane Beam was getting fired because we need a special teams coach too. So I think next year we're going to have Sam Pittman as our offensive line coach and Shane Beamer as our special teams coach.
I'd like Sam Pittman, please.
Sam may go crawling back to Athens.
I think Sam's going to retire. In all honesty, I think that he's just going to take his money and go on about his life. But
Well, I'm gonna let you guys close out, folks. Be on the lookout for Very Orange live stream Friday evening at some point. Since
At
I get
some point.
Brandon, it just it depends on Brandon's schedule and when we both have collected time, and we just his schedule's so screwy, and I stay busy, so um, we'll just have we'll figure it out, but we'll get ready. We'll do all.
Who's winning this weekend? Give us your prediction.
I will just say I will say good guys forever. I won't go to any.
Don't want to bury the lead.
Yeah, don't want to bury the lead. Don't want to follow any details on that. But so have fun. Enjoy your football weekend, Shelby. If I don't talk to you between now and your birthday, happy birthday, sweetheart. And Ethan, keep your powder dry, son. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right. Ole Miss and Auburn.
It's in Jordan Hare. Jordan Hare.
Jordan Hare.
I hate the way people pronounce it. It's spelled Jordan Hare, but they say Jordan Hare.
Really? I honestly have never heard that.
I hear it all the time. Maybe it's just my perception of it. I don't know. I feel like they don't enunciate the O. They say it like an E. Jordan Hare. I'm going Ole Miss. I don't think Auburn has the firepower to keep up.
I'm gonna say I've said it many times. Peyton Thorne is booty butt.
Have I not been on?
I just have to share my opinion every time.
Roll the tape. First preview of the year. I said Graham Mertz. Not only will Graham Mertz not be the worst quarterback in the SEC, Graham Mertz is not even the worst transfer from a Big Ten team in the SEC. I said Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne is garbage.
Booty butt. All right. And we'll see. LSU and Army is pretty obvious, I hope.
Yeah, I think we know how that one's going to go.
It's not the armed forces. Sorry, guys. And then third Saturday in October.
So I think Bama's going to Shrek them.
Please, dear God.
Sorry, Dren. I saw a guy on Twitter basically saying like, "Oh, we could have beat Texas A&M by even more if we wanted to," and Texas A&M only lost to Bama by 6 points or 3 points or whatever it was. But somehow the spread for the Bama Tennessee game's 10 points. That doesn't make any sense. And it's like transitive property doesn't work this way. And so if
we wanted to kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's always shit like that. And so I replied to him, and I'm like,
on the sideline, it was like, you know what? Let's be nice and let them drive to possibly win the game at the end.
Yeah.
The end of the game. Like, no. Okay, Max Scherzer is not having it tonight, guys. It's not good. It's only the top of the fourth, but it's not good.
So I'm going Bama by 17.
Me too. I'd take it.
I think you're gonna be pissed off after last year, and they get them in Tuscaloosa.
What's his name is gonna have Jermaine Burton. If he could have a big game against somebody else. They can stop talking about his game against A&M.
It'll happen. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a reason to not stand him, to not be able to stand him, except for the fact that he did well against us. But I can't. So
that's a good enough reason.
It's a good enough reason. My mom's favorite joke, and it was my joke. I've said it multiple times, but it's her favorite joke. Is that every time they talk about penetration in a football game, she'll go, "Not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate." And I'm like, "You're right. It's not. It's never a good enough reason to use that word."
No comment.
All
right, friends. We get the weekend off. We get to sit back, eat popcorn.
I'll be at the Stars game. on Saturday.
Go to other sporting events, all that fun stuff. I might go take the kids to the park or something. I don't know.
So I was like, you gonna say it? Take the kids to the park.
We went to the dog park last weekend, and let my wife sleep in and take a nap or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but I forgot to put pants on the baby, and then it was all windy, and I was like feeling judged by these old people at the dog park. My dog is like such a loner little turd. Like, she doesn't ever want to play with any other dogs or like anything. She just wants to go and sniff. Like, when she's at the dog park, she is about business. She wants to sniff every square inch of that dog park, and she doesn't want to play with any other dogs.
That's fair.
All right, friends.
Woo, I'm sleepy.
It's Shelby's bedtime.
It's true. I get up at 6 a.m. It's my bedtime.
Bye.
Good night, friends.